Maria grew up in a small town in Spain. From a young age, she dreamed of traveling the world. But there was one problem: she didn't speak English well. In school, she had learned some basic English words and grammar, but it wasn't enough. She could read simple sentences and understand a little, but speaking and listening were much harder. The fast pace of native speakers made her nervous, and she often stayed quiet, afraid of making mistakes. When she finished high school, Maria realized that if she wanted to achieve her dream, she needed to improve her English. She decided to take her learning seriously. First, she enrolled in a local language school. There, she attended classes twice a week. At the beginning, Maria felt shy and awkward. The other students seemed more confident, and she worried about speaking up. Her teacher, though, was patient and kind. Slowly, Maria began to participate more in class. She learned how to ask questions and hold short conversations with her classmates. Outside of class, Maria started to expose herself to English every day. She watched TV shows and movies with subtitles, trying to match the words with what she heard. At first, the fast conversations confused her, and she would have to pause the show and rewind to understand. But little by little, her listening improved. She began to recognize common phrases and patterns. She also downloaded an app to practice vocabulary on her phone. Whenever she had free time, she'd go over new words and practice their pronunciation. A big step in Maria's journey came when she decided to move to London for a year. She enrolled in a language course there and found a part-time job. At first, living in an English-speaking country was overwhelming. She had to use English for everything: buying food, asking for directions, speaking with her boss. It was a daily challenge. In the beginning, she would make mistakes, and sometimes people didn't understand her. But she didn't give up. Each day, she spoke more, asked more questions, and tried to listen closely. Maria also made new friends in London, and most of them were from other countries. They all communicated in English. At first, Maria felt nervous when speaking with them. She worried they might laugh at her mistakes or misunderstand her, but her friends were patient. They encouraged her, corrected her gently, and praised her efforts. This gave Maria more confidence. She realized that making mistakes was part of the process, and she slowly began to speak more freely. In her free time, Maria joined a book club to help with her reading. The group met once a month to discuss books in English. At first, reading entire books in English felt like a huge challenge. She often had to look up words and sometimes felt lost during the discussions. But the more she practiced, the better she became. The conversations at the book club helped her build her vocabulary, and she started to feel more comfortable expressing her thoughts in English. Living in London also helped her understand the culture behind the language. She learned about British humor, idioms, and how people communicated in everyday life. Maria even found herself thinking in English, something that had once seemed impossible. After a few months, she realized that she could watch movies without subtitles and understand most of what was said. She could have conversations without constantly worrying about grammar. This was a major turning point. By the end of the year, Maria had become much more fluent. She spoke English every day without fear and even started dreaming in English. She felt proud of how far she had come. The journey hadn't been easy. There were times when she felt frustrated and wanted to give up. But she kept going. She learned that persistence was key and that mistakes were just part of learning. When Maria returned to Spain, she continued practicing. She read books in English, watched movies, and stayed in touch with her friends from London. She even volunteered at a local school to help teach English to beginners. This gave her a chance to use her skills and help others who were in the same position she had once been in. Now, Maria works as a travel writer. Her job takes her all over the world, and her fluency in English helps her connect with people from many different countries. English is more than just a language for her. It's a tool that opened doors to new opportunities, friendships, and adventures. Looking back, Maria is proud of her journey. She knows that learning a language takes time and effort, but it's worth it. Becoming fluent in English changed her life. It gave her the confidence to explore the world and pursue her dreams.